Yeah, I was in 2006 in Torino, Italy, and I thought that was a highlight of my athletic career. Going to the Olympics is every kid's dream. And then the next year was not quite as good as the Olympics, but we were ranked #1 in the world. We were World Cup champions, and I thought we were building momentum to Vancouver. Unfortunately, after that year, I started having some hip pain, and I'd been dealing with it for about 1.5 years, so I went to see a doctor. He referred me to another doctor who confirmed his diagnosis, and it told me I was going to need a second surgery, because if I didn't, my hip was going to dislocate, and then I could be in a wheelchair in 10 years. My whole identity was stripped from me as an athlete. My income, everything that I found comfort in was taken from me. So the surgery that I chose to have was called a para-acetabular osteotomy. I've had a lot of practice in saying that, but what they did was they opened my hip up, they cut my pelvis in 5 places right around the socket, so it was a free-floating piece of bone. They rotated it so there's better coverage on my ball so it wouldn't dislocate it, and then they screwed it back in. And this is the ultimate challenge of coming back after a surgery that no other elite athlete has ever had in the US. So you want to be the first to not only come back, but come back at an elite level, at an Olympic level. Probably beginning in my high school and continue on to my early years of college, I had this emptiness inside. Then I tried to fill with so many different things, whether it's athletic success or friends or girls or parties. And the more I tried to fill that emptiness, the emptier I became. And it wasn't until my sophomore year, I was on the practice field, and I saw our team chaplain. His name was Gus Yeager. He was talking to actually my teammate, who also happened to be a Christian. Their backs were turned to me, and I remember looking at them, and I've never seen this since then, but there was a peace about them that I didn't understand, and said, you know what they have is that's what I'm looking for. We met later that week, and he went through, it was called the 4 Spiritual Laws. It's a little tract. He went through it with me, and he explained about Christ and how we have a separation from God, and it's Christ who brings us back into a relationship with Him. And this was all new to me, because not growing up in the church, I didn't know anything. I knew the name Jesus Christ, but I didn't understand what He did. And so that night, he led me in a prayer to receive Christ into my life, and I really didn't understand what had happened. I did know that once I prayed to receive that the emptiness was not only full, but overflowing with the joy, happiness, and peace that hasn't been met yet. It's God. I cannot do this without the Lord, and with my hip and with financially, it's a total dependence upon God. As an athlete, you compete and you want to win and you want to be the best, but how do you balance that with not finding your identity in a win or loss column, yet in Christ? I think God has used my injury to develop me to be a stronger Christian, and I think it's an ongoing process that every person or every athlete goes through, and I think God has to work on a little bit more. Obviously, He had to work on me a little bit more. He had to strip everything that, the athletic side, and He said, no, this is not what you find your identity in. You find your identity in me, and I supply all of your needs, because I have nothing but the Lord, and I find strength in Him, and He gives me the ability to be able to train, for my hip to have really a miraculous healing, and we want to say, look at me, this is all about me, and I've gotten myself here, but it's really the Lord who has brought us where we're at.